Hello, everyone, and good morning, and welcome to a very special, exclusive interview here on Tales from the Wandering Scribe. I'm your host, Gabriel Garcia, otherwise known as the Wandering Scribe and the Wandering Quill. And today, I cannot stress this enough, viewers and listeners, I have a very special and exclusive interview here on the show. And my guest today is from a company that I have name dropped numerous times before. I have promoted them. I am probably one of their biggest hype men and everything. And I'm so excited to have a representative from this company here. Now, my guest today is the marketing lead at Miblart, a creative design agency specializing in book covers for indie authors and publishers. With 5 years of B2B SaaS and publishing marketing experience, my guest helps authors understand how visual design drives book sales. With a background in market research, go-to-market strategy, and campaign execution, he brings a data-driven perspective to the publishing world. Passionate about the intersection of design and marketing, my guest believes a book cover is an author's most powerful marketing tool. And without further ado, I am so proud to have him here on the show. And as I said, viewers and listeners, this company has made some of the most incredible book covers. They are the people behind Amnetus, Son of Persia, Michael, Last Angel of Earth, Decimus, the Wolf of Rome. I don't have my copy here to show with you. And my recent copy, my next book, which will go into production sometime next year. So without further ado, let's give a huge round of applause to today's guest, Mr. Artem Sahaidak. Artem, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. How's it going? Yeah. Now it's fine.
Okay. I'll make sure to fix that in post. Apologies also, viewers and listeners. If there's any drops in the quality, it is raining where I'm at, so there may be dips here and there. But I'll make sure to remove those in post. But anyway, Artem, thank you so much for coming on the show. I am super excited to talk with you all about book marketing, to learn a little bit more about you, and some fan questions here and there. So I guess to start off with a little icebreaker question, so to speak, is there a fun fact you would like to share with the viewers and listeners? Anything about your life that probably people don't know about you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me once again. It's an honor and pleasure to be able to speak out and share some insights and information about book marketing and our company. Getting back to the initial question, I think one cool fact about me is that I have a small collection of vinyls, records, those things that are, getting more and more popular these days. So as of today, I do have 77 records.
Nice. I know quite a few people would absolutely love that. Actually, I think there is one person I know that's on my head who is huge into records, so I'll definitely have to tell them about that. But I am so excited to learn all about the book marketing side of the publishing industry and what goes into the creation of pretty much covers nowadays. So I guess we'll start off with the very first question, Artem. What inspired you to pursue a career in marketing, specializing in book cover design, going into the publishing industry?
It's quite a big question, I would say, because to me, what is important is basically the term marketing and the actual meaning of that word. And to me, this means that me and my team, we are spreading the word about either a service or a product. And in our case, this is a service. And what I like the most about working in this company, in this design agency, is that there is a service, and it's a creative service, and it is connected with the books. And obviously, I do love books. So apart from records, I also have certain number of books that I'm reading, both fiction and nonfiction. And basically, my education is actually the teacher of English language and literature. So I do love reading, and that's basically one more reason why I decided to join Miblart and GetCovers back in the day.
Nice. So, going forward in your career, what would you say definitively was your aha moment that really told you, it's like, this is the career that you should pursue?
You mean the reason why I'm working as a
Yes,
marketer?
absolutely.
Well, I think once again it brings back my educational experience, because marketers, they do explain concepts, products, services, etc.
Mm.
And I was always good at explaining things. I like to explain certain things. I do remember vividly how I once explained the the meaning of the internet to my grandma, and I succeeded. I mean, she got it. So basically, all it's everything about explanation. So I do love to explain stuff, and I do this in marketing. So that was the reason why I started to pursue this career in marketing, because no matter where I work, in what kind of company, because before Miblart, I was working in SaaS industry, software as a service.
Mm.
And before that, even before that, it was another company, software as a service. It's still all about explanation, how you deliver the message, how you
Mm.
come up with this message in the first place, what kind of definitions and words you put to those sentences that you are going to promote and publish. So it's all about explanation, like in a general sense.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So now let's go forward to talk about the day-to-day life of a book marketer and creating a marketing campaign. And also, I do want to say this first and foremost. If any questions do touch on stuff that may be a little too company secret, then feel free to give as
Yeah,
very broad answer as possible.
sure, sure.
All right. So let's start at the beginning. So for you guys and your team, whenever you guys work on, let's say, a recent campaign or a recent project for an author, so to speak, what's your day-to-day life look like? Do you guys have a routine that you guys do, in the sense that do you guys have a planning stage, getting all the information? Do you guys work in like mornings? Are you guys more nighttime people? What's sort of like the behind the scenes of the day in the day life of a marketer?
Right. Well, first of all, we are talking about the team. So I'm leading the team of marketers, and like there are 6 people in the team, and in particular, I'm responsible for some strategic moves and data analysis. So my routine is mostly analyzing tons of data, existing clients, potential clients, analysis of our ads campaigns, etc. And obviously, planning the every quarter ahead, as well as doing the yearly strategy in general, and starting the competition. So
Right.
these are, obviously, if there are any marketers out there who will listen to this podcast, they will know that these are the basics. But no matter in which industry you're working, you cannot live with these basics. And Miblart and GetCovers are no exception here.
Mm.
So yeah, to put shortly, my routine mostly lies like my routine mostly is analyzing tons of data, checking the news from our competitors and analyzing their services, working with the technical SEO and SEO analysis in general, because I have certain experience with that as well. And communication with my team, with our designers, with our existing clients as well, because time to time I do speak to our clients, because the most valuable insights are always in the conversations with the existing clients. Period. That will be always like that. So this is one more important part of my daily routine as a book marketer at GetCovers and Miblart.
All right. And going forward from that, how do you generate ideas for a marketing campaign related to book covers?
Once again, data. So you will probably hear this word a lot of times during today's podcast. Data. This is basically the main source of information and insights for our team. And if you as a marketer are able to make a good interpretation of those numbers, you can really get a lot of insights. Secondly, obviously, just like I said, talking to clients directly, studying the competition and actually Googling or making deep research with the help of LLMs nowadays is making this much more simple. So data, studying competitors and any information about competitors, talking to clients, Googling and using LLMs, all combined basically, well, obviously, plus my expertise and expertise of our team, great team, helps a lot.
Nice. Very, very nice. And before I even talk about, sort of like the goals and promise you and your team made to your clients, let's talk about probably some of the things people outside of the publishing industry or even the marketing industry may have. And I ask this question to everyone who works in the publishing industry on some level, for editors, narrators, artists, marketers, designers. I think people who are outside of those spheres tend to think an overgeneralization of what each person does. And I think that is, again, a overgeneralization of the hard work that everyone puts into these respective industries. So for you, Artem, what have been some of the most challenging aspects of marketing of our book covers, or just marketing in general, that people may have an oversimplification of what that title actually means?
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you, Gabriel. And it's a huge one. There is no simple answer for that. Like talking about the challenges, I would say few things. Number one, nowadays it's AI, so it simplifies the work of a marketer, but also it makes it more complicated at the same time. I'll explain. So the speed with which these solutions are popping up on the market is enormous, and you have to be in touch with all of that, and you have to be able to add these tools to your daily routine, and you have to understand the overall impact on the industry, because let's imagine you are an author, and first thing that you will think about if you have a need of creating the book cover, DIY, you will do it yourself, right? And how do you do this? You will normally do the mock-up with LLMs, and there is nothing wrong with that. What I would recommend here, though, is basically still rely on human work, and it does not necessarily need to be Miblart or GetCovers. It can be any other service or designer. The point here is that once you have something that appears in your life that makes your life easier, um, it makes your life easier, but you still lose some sort of value in the ended result. So for us marketers, AI makes life more easy for obvious reasons, right? And complicated at the same time because it's hard to, be in touch with all of that at the same time. For our target audience, let's say, yeah, it helps him or her to come up with an idea quick, but it also makes him or her to be satisfied with this very first solution in the first place.
Right.
Whereas he or she or they can come up with something more valuable, more impactful with the help of the actual human. So I would say human first. that would be the bottom line here. So that's the first thing, the first challenge. Getting back to your question, and the second challenge is that the fact that we are working with quite a demanding audience. And I'm saying demanding in a good sense because we are talking about creative people, and it takes time to satisfy the need of the creative person with his or her work of art.
Yes.
He or she put a lot of effort into it, and he or she wants it to be impactful. Like this person hopes for sales as well, because nobody rejects that, and it's a huge responsibility. So this is challenge number 2, and I would say there are many other challenges, but those challenges are part of the life of a marketer. So I would, the bottom line, these 2 are the most important, the most crucial challenges for us marketers: AI and the demanding need of our client or our potential client.
Absolutely, Artem. And actually touched on those 2 very nicely. And we're actually going to go a little bit more in depth later in the interview, especially about AI in the industry, as well as, making quality products that are satisfying for the client. And just a little tangent for this, I do want to say that from an author's perspective, when it comes to finding a company that makes covers, it's not easy unless you already have a contract with a publisher that already has, a team already in place. That's a little bit easy. And I will try to say this as best I can. I talked with a lot of authors on the show, a lot of traditional and indie, and they have all shared their comments on their covers. Some of them have said that they've enjoyed their covers from their publishers. Others say that they were not satisfied with their covers, and they've had to wait until the book run was over to change it. I feel, and this is entirely my own opinion, viewers and listeners, for indie authors, we at least have the choice to decide how the cover is, especially working with a company that is very open and cooperative. Because I imagine there are many other design companies who do very similar things, but there is a lack of engagement. There's, okay, you give them the information, they create the product, you get it, you may not be satisfied, you may want to tweak it, but it's a lot of hoops and hurdles that the person has to go through. And I think that's why a lot of indie authors, again, this is from my own opinion, viewers and listeners that I've had on the show, that have always worked with design artists, like us, one singular artist who design their covers, because they will have that engagement. Now, it is different from every person, that is true, but I definitely think that when finding the cover, it should not be as difficult as it needs to be. And we're going to be talking about that when we get into the business side, going a little bit more in depth, like what goes on behind the scenes. Before we get to that, I did want to touch on something which I'm very eager to hear your thoughts on, Artem, And that is, of course, what I like to call the creatives block, because everybody in the publishing industry, again, narrators, editors, authors, artists, designers, marketeers, we all struggle with the creative block. Either we have it in our head, but we can't bring it down on page, or we create something, we know it's not right, we don't know how to fix it. So, Artem, can you share with us how you and your team handle the creative blocks when you're developing new campaigns for marketing, or more specifically, if you're working on a new book cover for a client?
So I can tell that there are two questions here in this one question. Sorry. The first question is dedicated to marketing team, so I can definitely answer that. And the second question is basically dedicated to the designer team. So please bear with me. I will respond on behalf of design team, but obviously they might have some kind of additional points
Of course.
to that. But I will tell the sort of the general rule and the general perception of this issue.
Mhm.
So talking about the marketing team, that like it's quite hard for me to remember the time of any kind of blog because we always have data. Because data can clearly indicate what goes well and what does not.
Mm.
So once something does not go well, we try to identify the reason why it is like that. We try to find out the trend. So if this is a repetitive thing, or this happened for the very first time, or this is some sort of seasonality. So many people are on vacation, and that's why our ad is not efficient. And once we establish that fact, we can pivot. We can change our approach. We can change the words in our ads, the design in our images, etc., etc., etc. And we
Mm.
test that. Once we have, once again, the data, and also we have the benchmarks that we can we can compare our results to and with these benchmarks. So
Right.
that how it goes, how it happens with marketing team. If there are anything else, that is, I think, related to the lack of vacation of a particular person, or
Absolutely.
lack of sleep, or any other non-work related issues. That's my point of view. Talking about designers, they have a privilege of talking to clients more often than me because they are sort of collaborating at this point. We will talk more about that, I think, later on in this interview. But our designers are extremely creative people, and for most of the time, they don't have this block. But just like all creative people, time to time they have it. And how they work with it, how do they fight with it? They communicate with our designers and they exchange ideas. They have additional deals. Once again, it's valid for designers as well.
Mm-hmm.
They do attend different conferences, meetings, reading books, so they try to find this inspiration elsewhere. And overall, what I hear from them, because I do remember I once asked this question one of our designers, not all of them obviously, but just one person whom I know quite well, and she told me that just start doing something. Just for writers, it might be just writing some word. It might be lorem ipsum, some gibberish, but from that you can develop something. And the same
Mm-hmm.
applies to designers. And this is just, the best way is just to start doing something, just to
Right.
act.
Very true. Very, very true, Artem. And before we get to what I like to call some reflective questions, there is a big one that we have been touching on, but I now think it's time to ask this. So, from your own experiences, with the marketing team, whenever you're working on, let's say, a new project or working with a returning client, ultimately, what is the goal that you're making for yourself and for your team on this project? And then the follow-up to that is ultimately, what is the promise you're making to not only yourself and your team, but also to your client when working on a new book marketing campaign or working with a returning client on a follow-up campaign?
Okay, this is another great question, and another doubled question because once again, there are two sides of this question that I have to answer. So, in terms of the brand promise and the actual promise that our company makes, we are committed to satisfy the need of our client in the author, because he or she has to trust us with his work of art, his or her child, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably the biggest challenge for us, because we really actually have to satisfy this need. So it's a huge challenge. This is number one for us, and this is why I think we have this kind of well, that will sound promotional, but this is just a fact. This is really the reason why we do have this unlimited number of revisions for free, unlike many other companies, because we are really interested in the satisfaction of our customer, of our client, of our author, and that's why we are always open for that. So that's number one. In terms of our team, like talking about the actual need of our team members and my personal needs, well, obviously we are interested in the success of our um, clients, our authors, because their success this is the success of the company, and success of the company is our personal success as well. And so there are 2 points in here, and the third point is that we have to remember that our work, this is also a place where we can put into reality our professional plans as well. And to do that, we have to be proactive. We have to be interested, once again, in the success of the company as a whole. So that's why I always encourage my teammates to share everything that is on their minds, to share any even craziest idea it might be worth trying down the road sometime. Because we live once, and we deserve to at least try to consider. If it goes well, it goes well. If it fails, well, it fails. At least we tried.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hero of Jack Nicholson said in that movie.
Mm-hmm. That is very true. That is very, very true. And here are some little fun questions that I'd like to ask before we get into the reflective ones. So, for you guys in the marketing team, do you guys have like a favorite book campaign that you guys were a part of that was your absolute favorite? And why was it your favorite? Was it because either the book itself, after getting it from the design team, how it looked, the data behind it, like where this book fell under, like the genre, the tropes it may have, and also as an add-on to that, so this is in a sense a three-part question, what was
Okay.
probably the most challenging book to market?
Ooh. Um, Well, I'll give you the short answer for the third part of your question.
All right.
The most challenging one. This is the type of book when the author himself or herself doesn't know what he or she wants to be on the book cover. So we both have to elaborate on that, and there has to be some communication back and forth in order to extract the overall vision first, and with some iterations there probably might be some results. So it's not the most challenging, I would say. I would just say it will take more time.
Mm,
It will take more time, and this is just more difficult to satisfy these type of needs, because it's how can you satisfy something if the other side doesn't know what he or she wants in the first place. So
yes.
that's just logic. And the other two parts of your question was about the most demanding marketing campaign, right?
What was your favorite marketing campaign that you've worked on recently?
Pom, 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 pom. I would say this is our birthday campaign. Like this summer, we had our 9th anniversary of the company. Both,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. Both GetCovers and Miblart, and it was favored not only because of the results, but obviously because of the results as well, but because we understood that it is the company is sometime on the market, and it like year after year it goes well. Next year it will be 10th anniversary, and we understood how many great book covers we've made before, and we had compiled like for internal share the selection of book covers we produced and created back in the day, like 8 years ago, and what kind of book covers we created recently, last year or even this year. And we could see clearly the progress, right?
Hmm.
And like we were witnessing the success of our authors that always brings joy, and that was most joyful campaign, I would say. So
Nice.
if I had to mention joyful campaigns, that would be the one. Yeah.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And again, viewers and listeners, I cannot stress this enough. Get covers and Mibble Arts are incredible. I mean, the covers that the design team makes and the promotional stuff and the marketing stuff that the marketing people do is top notch. It is great. It is absolutely amazing. And we're going to be touching on some things when we get into the business side, which I'm
Hmm.
very, very excited to learn. But before we get to that, there are again those reflective questions that I'm really eager to hear your thoughts on, Artem. And this one, of course, refers to what it means to be a small independent company in the digital age, because the industry has greatly changed in the last 20 years or more. And as you mentioned, Arm, just now, that GetCovers this year celebrated its 9th birthday. So
Hmm.
in the long scheme, compared to the other bigger agencies, it's still relatively still new, but it's developed a incredible fan base. It has, a loyal fan base of people who are always interested in the covers, in the marketing. It's very vibrant, it's lively. But of course, as we all know, marketing on social media is a double-edged sword. It can be very exhausting and very draining. And unfortunately, we do leave ourselves exposed to the negative side of social media. And I've talked to a lot of people in the industry about what it means to be marketing one's content on social media. Again, it is a double-edged sword. It can be very exhausting, very mentally draining. And I imagine there have been some days, possibly for you and your team, where you're trying to create these incredible posts, trying to do all these cool marketing things, but possibly the engagement is not as big as one would expect. And there may be some comments here and there that may just be deflating and add to, anxiety, imposter syndrome, and all of that. But with that said, Artem, what disciplines, or I should say, what has disciplined you and your team to say, no matter what social media says, we are still going to produce the content that we ourselves enjoy, that is truthful to our brand? And as you said, though you guys follow the data to see what your competitors are doing, we are going to stick true to our guns, to what we've set out to do as a company.
Right. Well, before I comment on that, I want to say to viewers and listeners to subscribe to your channel and like the video and the podcast. So don't forget to do that. And talking about the question, I would say look, we are all humans here, and we are not always looking at data, and we do make time to time some mistakes, and it's important to acknowledge that and be transparent with team members and for us as a company with our clients, because like I said, we are all humans. What helps us is basically the fact that we all I mean, pretty much everyone in the agency love what we do. I'm lucky to have the team I have where I work, because they they are my discipline, because I see how they work, how committed they are, in spite of all the difficulties that we are having right now as a country, because we are talking about a Ukrainian design agency, and we have a full-scale ongoing war. So we are coping with that fine. But like I said, despite all the challenges, the team is great, marketing team in particular. And when I see, either our marketing team or other teams, design team, executive team, support team, etc., I see how committed they are. It's a discipline. You cannot let those people down. You cannot let authors down. So that's one reason why. Reason number one why we are on the market for 9+ years. And second reason, like I said, we do love what we do. And what else I wanted to say, that sometimes you may have some difficulties, some difficult situations related to work, but it's important to remember once again that we are talking about human interaction, and if you have some issues, you can if you don't know something, you can ask your colleague, and he will help you, or she will help you. So it's about human communication after all.
Absolutely, 100%. And now let's go into a very special question, which I'm very eager to hear your thoughts on. So I'll give context to this question, Artem. So I've been doing this show now for about 6-7 years, and I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of authors, almost close to 200. Now talking with editors, narrators, other industry agents, whether that's publishers, and now illustrators, marketers, and so forth. And from a majority of these people that I talk to, it seems to me, or rather it appears to me, that we all began our careers, relatively speaking, around the same time during the lockdown. And everyone that I've had on the show agrees that the lockdown was definitely a time where a lot of people who were isolated began looking at their other skills, their other passions, and creating new stuff, whether that's creating their new businesses, creating their products, whether they are artists or authors. And when the floodgates opened, the industry was bombarded with independent new voices. And this has sparked this trend of being called the golden age. I was one of those people. I began writing back in 2020. But as I've grown over the last few years, I've seen this new trend where there seems to be a separation between the golden age and the iron new age. And the reason for that is because while there are new people in the industry, a lot of people argue that the industry is overly saturated with these new voices. And it's a split between those that are passionate about the industry in their respective fields that they want to build and grow, while there are others who simply created these things to get a quick buck. And I can say this for all creative individuals, that if you're going into the publishing industry or creative industry in general, it's not a moneymaker. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a lot of hard work, dedication. It is a grind, whether you're an artist, marketer, designer. It's not easy. It is a grind. So that is why more people are saying we are now in an iron age. And Artem, I would like to hear this from you, from your perspective, and from the data that you and your team have gathered over the years, and from the market research, from doing campaigns for book covers, working with your design team, getting in contact with them, from what you guys have seen as a company. In regards to authors, do you believe that this is a golden age, or more so leaning towards an iron age?
That's quite a question. I think I wouldn't use these terms, neither of those terms, to be honest with you. Okay. Because what I believe in is that basically, if you are an author and you have something to say it. We have a bunch of platforms where you can do this. If you think that your say deserves a book, write it. And the rest is on your reader. And like I said before and mentioned before, at least you tried. Mm-hmm. Because yes, we do have this oversaturation with AI, different platforms, etc. But I believe like you have to share. If you want to share something, you have to share it. So you would not have this regret in 30, 40, 50 plus years from now. So my take on this is, if you have something to share, write your book. Write your book no matter what. If market is against you, fine. If everyone is against you, fine. Just do it, because you do you. So sorry for this kind of motivational speech, but this is honestly what I believe in. And at least you will show this book to your kids or to your friends. That's already the golden minimum, I would say.
Absolutely, 100%. And now we're going to touch on something that you mentioned early in the interview, Artem, and that is, of course, AI in the industry. And I love talking with people about this, because in just a few short years, AI has, exploded, and it's trickled down into the publishing industry. I've had a lot of authors give their voice, of AI in the publishing world, a lot of artists, narrators. But I definitely think it is important to really state that what a lot of people are talking about, viewers and listeners, is not just AI in terms of autocorrect, because autocorrect for Microsoft Word is a form of AI. It's more so generative AI, where you give it a prompt and it creates something, whether it's a book or an art piece. And I've said on numerous interviews, I've used AI to help organize my outlines and all my stuff behind the scenes for my books. But when it comes to writing it, that is all me. I do not use any form of generative AI. And Artem, I would like to hear more on your thoughts of generative AI in the marketing industry. Also because, there's a lot more commercials now using generative AI to make promotions. I know that may be a little bit into media and television advertising, but I definitely feel there is a correlation when it comes to book marketing and book marketing campaigns. And I would just like to hear your thoughts on this and how, pretty much as you mentioned before, how it kind of takes away the human aspect of developing a campaign for a project.
Right. So first of all, I will point it out right off the bat. AI will not replace people like for 100%. Surely there will be, and there are some professions that will be replaced, but overall, what AI is making is basically it's using the information that is available on the internet, but there are obviously some information that is not available on the internet, and this is another reason why you have to write your book if you want to write it down. And that's the first point. The second point is that in marketing we do use AI for deep research, because with the help of this approach, this AI approach in marketing, you are able to analyze tons of data within minutes, whereas before you would do this within days. So it helps a lot. And also you're able to to see the benchmarks quite quickly. You can brainstorm together with AI. You can request the you can ask AI to criticize your thoughts, to challenge your thoughts, and all combined, it gives you great results and great insights that you can use in your marketing campaigns. And also, I would love to mention that our designers, they don't use AI. So we're talking about manual work, and we're using Photoshop, other well-known systems, and you can see the BTS behind the scenes, how certain covers are made on our YouTube channel. So in our agency, we do have the marketing team that is using AI for getting data, ideas, insights, etc. quickly, and our design team don't use AI at all at this point.
Yes, very true. And I like how you make that. You state this distinction that you guys use the AI aspect as a tool to gather data and research to organize it. But when it comes to creating, that is all human intuition, human experience, as you said, Photoshop, getting everything right. And it really does show, viewers and listeners. It really does show. I mean, look at these covers.
Yeah.
Look at these. I mean, this is probably, when I first got this, working with them for the very first time, viewers and listeners, I was blown away. And then Michael absolutely blew me away. And of course, if you've seen my post on Instagram and my YouTube channel of Decimus, I was blown out of the park once again. I mean, I know as a loyal patron of GetCovers, when I'm working with them, again, not trying to do like a spot, well, you can view it as such, but from my own experiences, when I work with GetCovers viewers and listeners, I know I'm going to get top quality content. I know I'm going to get an amazing product at the end. and I trust them. I trust them to do their process. If they always need something, I'm always happy to give it back. And the marketing, all that stuff is just really, really incredible. And that is, I could go on, but I'm just going to stop here for the moment.
Thank you for your kind words. Much appreciated. And I want to add one more, bullet point to your question regarding AI. To me, AI nowadays it's like a new internet. But once internet appeared in our lives, it didn't replace other aspects of life. It became a new aspect of life, but it didn't replace the other ones. So this is just the evolution, and this is another episode of this evolution. So it's only on you how you will benefit from this new chapter of evolution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now, viewers and listeners, we're going to dive into the business side of a book marketer. And I'm very excited to learn about this aspect of the industry. So we'll start with a good little icebreaker question. So for you, Artem, when you began this journey of yours going into this industry, after getting experience, training, what really surprised you about the marketing industry when you first got into it? And looking back on your career thus far, is there anything you would have done differently? Maybe have gone in a different direction for a job, or possibly taken on a different project? Or do you think that there's nothing you would change?
Well, I think I would change nothing. And not because I hate to going back in time, because it's important to live in the moment, in present time, but just because I honestly appreciate the route, the road I have, the professional road that I have, because I started as a teacher. Then I moved to IT industry and started to work in customer care, then in sales, and then I switched to marketing, which is basically another side of sales, but in a more data-oriented way, and you communicate your messages not only like this, but also through different kind of messaging and positioning. So, and I enjoy it a lot, as I said before, earlier in this interview. Yeah, and what was the first part of the question? Sorry.
Oh, the first part was, what really surprised you about the marketing industry when you got in?
Yeah. Thank you. It's just the late in here, so I start to to be quite slow. So what really surprised me is that actually the amount of demand for book covers. I honestly didn't expect to be this kind of business, and it's quite a profitable business. Obviously, I can't tell you any numbers, but you can believe me, they are reasonable, and they are reasonable, and that was one thing that impressed me, because I honestly thought that these days not a lot of people are buying the actual paper books with covers. But now I understand that they do, like, people do buy these things, and that's great. I'm happy to know that, to realize that. And they are doing this not only in States, but also in other countries as well, because we, our most important market for us are English speaking countries, with basically not only States, but also Canada, Australia, UK. I mean, you name, we all know those countries. And in every single country, people read a lot of books, people write a lot of books. And honestly, as a teacher, as a person who likes to read, I truly enjoyed that once I realized the amount of demand.
Absolutely, 100%. Now let's talk about another aspect, which I think is shared through all people of the industry, artists, editors, narrators, and marketers, and that is understanding the audience. Now, from an author's perspective, an author knows that they are the audience first and foremost when they're writing their book. But when they publish it, that's when they really have to understand, who exactly are we writing for? It's this balancing act. They want to showcase their individuality, but also realize if they're writing in a particular genre, it's going to have to follow a similar form, but not be totally new that's going to throw people off, but also not a carbon copy of something that already exists. And I imagine that same mentality is with you and you guys of the marketing team, where let's say if you're given a new book, you're trying to market it, looking at the data, it's like, okay, it's this type of book. It has all of these it has all these elements on the cover. How are we going to market this? Are we going to market to readers who enjoy this book? Or are we marketing to people of that main genre? And it's, again, this tightrope balance where you want to showcase the book's individuality from the author, but also understand that since it is in this genre, it may or may not react the same way. So, Artem, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that aspect when it comes to marketing and understanding the audience, the clientele, when you're making posts and campaigns.
So the question is basically about us as a company, not as if I was an author and how I would market the book.
Yes, that's correct. It is more so the company. I was using the author
Right.
as an example.
Right. Well, for us, the essential thing is the understanding the need and the profile of the customer who is asking us to make a book cover. And that's why we communicate with that person a lot in order to understand what is the actual goal. And we do make a lot of research about the audiences who are reading this or that genre, because every single genre has its peculiarities, and these peculiarities are spoken through book covers. And now we are talking about the actual elements of book covers that are special for every genre, and we have to understand that 100%. So each of every member of our design team is fluent in terms of understanding the peculiarities of each genre, because of the experience, because of the education, and that's why we're always trying to be 100% sure if we understood correctly the target audience of each genre. So we communicate, like we actually reproduce our knowledge that we know about the genre to our client and confirm it. And that helps us to be on the same page together with our client, and that's why they are satisfied for the most part. I mean, obviously there are some people who are not satisfied, but that's part of the job. So for us, it's important to speak the language of each genre. So each designer, every member of our design team speaks that language. If there are something that designer don't know, he or she ask the question, and we are trying to make sure that we are on the same page.
Absolutely.
Literally, by the way, literally, we are on the same book cover page.
Yes, very true, Artem. Very true. And we now arrive at a fan question one of my viewers has been
Okay.
dying to ask. And oh, okay. This viewer has been following me a lot because I know exactly this question. So it's a long one, but I will summarize it. Ultimately, this viewer asked, as a book cover company, from your perspective, Artem, what is probably the one genre you guys market the most? And I think I know the answer they want you guys to say, because from what I've seen as an author, it is romance, fantasy, or romantasy. But I'm wondering, is that the same for you guys? Is that the genre that you get the most data from in terms of marketing for that genre? Or do you not have a genre that is like the most dominant when it comes to marketing?
Well, statistically, I think you are right. Statistically, um, but in terms of our preferences, I wouldn't say that there is one, because every story is different and every story is unique. And I can share, I don't know if it's a secret, but I can tell you that our designers appreciate and like when our authors share a sketch, you know, a handwritten note or drawing, a handwritten picture of the concept of the idea of the book cover, and then our designers, they like to transform that into reality, into the
Mhm.
actual book cover. So they do enjoy this process a lot. And honestly, I do enjoy it personally a lot because it's really funny to see uh, how the concept, the idea, was transformed to something real. It's fascinating. So statistically, like the short answer, yes, I guess romance, it's probably number one genre, leading the charts.
Mhm.
But in terms of the actual preference, I don't think that there is one. We do like creating different covers, and what we do like in particular, I mean, not only designers, but also the marketing team and me included, is the actual transformation from handwritten concept towards the real book cover.
Nice. Very nice. And we have another fan question one of my viewers asked. This viewer asks, what has probably been the best feedback or comment that you guys have gotten as a company from a client that you've worked with, new or old?
There were many. there were there were many, luckily good ones. Um, Boom, 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 boom. I think I think that I personally remember this feedback of a client uh, when she said that when she saw the final result, uh, she had tears, and that was tears of joy. So that wasn't something bad, no. And that honestly struck me because obviously I didn't witness that, but even hearing that and seeing that comment, that was shocking in a positive way. So that's the comment I remembered now.
Awesome. That is very sweet. That is absolutely very sweet. And this is actually, oh, that's another good fan question. And this actually is an old question I used to ask viewers a long time on the show. This viewer asked, from a business standpoint and a marketing standpoint,
Mm.
who or what would you consider to be an
Ideal client would be a person who who is actually having the book ready, and who knows clearly the genre, like who can clearly specify the genre this book in, and who can provide the concept. And the actual wording, the actual structure of sentences doesn't matter. The fact that he or she can give us this one pager, it actually already speaks a lot to us, because later on we can, communicate more with that person. And for us, I would say the clear ideal customer profile, that's what we are talking about, the ICP, is the person who is engaged in our communications, who is not giving us, very short sentences that it's, you have to guess basically the meaning behind them. So that's our ideal customer profile. Person who already has the book done or almost done, who provided us with interesting information about this book, any type of information matters, and who is engaged in the communication with us. So we clearly can see the interest, and like this actual collaboration, designer and the author, this is like playing jazz. It's like playing something together or
Yes.
dancing something together.
Very true. Very, very true, Artem. And we've reached the end of this incredible interview. So I'm going to ask you now the final two questions, which I think are two of the most important questions. So
Okay,
here's
I'm ready.
the first one. So the first question is, with everything you've learned in the industry for yourself, as leading a marketing team and working with Miblart and GetCovers, what do you want people to take away from these two companies, for those who are working with them currently and those just now working with them for the very first time?
We are author oriented, period. And these are two companies where you could communicate directly with designers, and it could feel like a real collaboration, like real jazz gig or dance. And that from our side, we are committed to the final result with which you will be satisfied. To do that, you are not paying upfront anything. So basically you're paying once the result is done. Number two, you have unlimited number of revisions while working on the actual book cover. And basically the fact that you can choose either Miblart or GetCovers, because if budget is the issue for you, you can go ahead and get GetCovers, and no one will ever notice that this is some kind of budget friendly or something. No, these are honestly, we are sometimes having hard time to understand which book cover is. So either Miblart or GetCover. So bottom line is that we are author-oriented company, author-oriented agency, and we collaborate with our authors, and we are committed to produce together a great book cover that will be your number one marketing tool.
Absolutely. I just want to go off a little tangent, viewers and listeners, and just add to what Artem said, and actually give my own personal experience, as I said numerous times in this interview. And I'll give an example. Whenever I show people the covers of my books, all the authors on the show, and I tell them, how much do you think the graphic costs me? And they would say like 200. There was one person, Artem, who said that the cover cost about $2,000. I was like, no, it is not that much. And I literally tell them this cover came from GetCovers, and I will literally show them the website, and they're like, there's no way it's that budget friendly that it costs that much. Like, nope, It is true. And I always tell them, but kudos to you thinking that it was like that incredibly expensive, because that shows again the talent behind the designers of GetCovers, that they're able to
Shout
make
out to designers. Yeah.
yeah, that they're able to make these incredible covers for a fraction of what other companies go for. And again, as an indie author, it is budget friendly. It is absolutely budget friendly. And as I said numerous times, viewers and listeners, all my covers from now on for the next 15 years, for all the books I have in the works, they're all going to be coming from GetCovers. There is no doubt about that. There is no way I'm leaving this company, because, as Artem has said, the collaboration is so engaging. I always know that I'm always going to be in the right hand, and I trust their judgment 100%. And the final question, Artem, to this incredible interview is this. With everything, again, you've learned thus far in your career as the head of a marketing team, your own experiences, what is your word of wisdom to other people who want to get into the marketing industry for either book covers, publishing, or marketing in general?
I love the way how you frame this philosophical questions into this podcast. Well, I would give you the answer right away. I will just say that it it will apply only to it will apply not only to market to people who wants to do marketing, but also to other professions. And my word of wisdom, as you say, is basically do what you love what you do, period. Because there is no reason to do the thing that you don't love, period. Once again, if you love what you do, you will enjoy that this way or another. Obviously, there will be some hiccups, some difficult periods, but that's life. You will overcome it. You will become wiser, smarter. You will have experience that you will rely on. So just do the thing that you love. If it's marketing, perfect. I encourage you to do that. It's a great profession. Like it's an intersection with like of creativity and analytics, which is a great combination, anyways. But in real life, it's even better. So just do what you love what you do.
Beautifully said, Artem. Beautifully said. And with that, viewers and listeners, we conclude this incredible exclusive interview here on Tales from the Wandering Scribe. I want to give a huge thank you to Artem of GetCovers for coming on the show, and Miblart, can't forget them, for coming on the show and telling us all about his journey as a marketing expert for the book cover design world. And again, so happy to have him on the show. Artem, before we end, where can people find GetCovers on social media if they want to reach out and begin working? And do you guys have any special announcement, any special promos from both companies that are coming out later this year or for the rest of this year?
Thank you for this interview, for your great deep questions. So you can find us at miblart.com, getcovers.com. We are present on pretty much every single social network, but we tend to spend more time personally on Instagram and Facebook. I encourage you to visit our page and visit our book marketing event that we'll be having in 1 week, next week. There will be two great speakers, Dale Roberts and Alexa Bigwarfer from Women in Publishing Summit. We'll be talking about book marketing trends for the next year and talking about promotions. Stay tuned for Black Friday. There will be some great coupons and some great opportunities. So stay tuned.
Awesome. I will link all those down below in the description of this video. And once again, viewers and listeners, thank you again so much for joining us for this exclusive interview here on Tales from the Wandering Scribe. Again, a huge thank you to Artem of GetCovers and Miblart for coming on the show. We wish him and his team the best for the rest of 2025 and going into 2026. I cannot wait for what the future has in stores for this company. And again, a happy belated birthday to GetCovers, and wishing them incredible success going into the new year. And until next time, viewers and listeners, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with all new details coming out. And be on the lookout for later this year for an exclusive sneak peek at my next book coming out in 2026. I guarantee you're going to love it. It honestly, personally, is one of my new favorite covers, especially since it is going to be talking about a story that I'm very excited to write about. But you have to wait and see. So until next time, this has been the Wandering Scribe and the Wandering Quill, signing out, wishing you all a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Take care.